Thanks for checking out this video. This is episode 17 of Match Monday. Today I'm highlighting one of the oldest rivalries in wrestling, Oklahoma State versus Iowa. Back in 1997-98 season, Oklahoma State's Eric Guerrero versus Iowa's Doug Schwab. This duel is actually considered one of the best duel meets of all time. It happened on February 14th, 1998 in Carver Hawkeye Arena. Hopefully both these guys sound familiar to you. Doug Schwab is currently the head coach at the University of Northern Iowa. He was also an Olympian back in 2008. Guerrero has actually been out of wrestling for the last couple of years, or I'm just not sure what he's doing in wrestling, but he was the head coach of the Oklahoma RTC and the longtime assistant coach for his alma mater, Oklahoma State. He was also an Olympian in 2004. All right, with that, let's check it out. Now, Eric Guerrero is the returning national champion at this weight class, so he's highly favored to beat Doug Schwab here. Early on, it's a pretty tough hand fight. Schwab is really trying to pull on Guerrero and get him down underneath him to his front headlock. And Schwab is really heavy on the head. He's really heavy with his clubs and his hand fighting, and Guerrero's trying to control his elbows. It's very stereotypical Oklahoma State, Iowa. Guerrero's kind of staying on the outside a little bit and trying to avoid the hand fight as well as control Schwab's elbows while Schwab is moving like a banshee in there. High energy the whole time, tons of movement, hand and foot movement, just great stuff from both guys here. Eventually, Guerrero gets a control of the elbow from the outside. He passes it, level changes right into a high crotch position and actually finishes him off in a fireman's carry and dumps Schwab to his butt and then rolls him to his back and is able to get 2 points in near fall here for a nice count before Schwab's able to kind of fight off and get out of bounds. When these good guys, they get put to their back sometimes too, and you see the fight, it's almost like fighting for their lives to get off their back. I mean, the intensity and the aggression stays the same whether they're on their back or not. The fight to get off your back is something that a lot of young wrestlers could learn a lot from. Guerrero just does a great job riding here, and he goes right leg in and kind of ends up cross-body riding Schwab for a long time. And they are just kind of stuck in this position for what seems like minutes. I mean, Schwab is just kind of pinching off and covering his face and really not doing a whole lot. That right boot goes in. Every time Schwab gets it out, Guerrero is able to just sneak it right back in. He's trying to break Schwab flat with that leg. And he's really looking and pulling on that opposite arm. It looks like he wants to bar it up. I haven't watched a ton of Guerrero. I don't really know a ton about what he does. I know his resume, but I'm not super familiar with Guerrero. I've watched a lot more Doug Schwab, which is kind of like the classic Iowa style that you think of. I mean, Doug Schwab's one of those guys that is, he's a Tom Terry Brands kind of guy. He's going to be in close. He's going to have a huge gas tank and beat you up and turn it into a street fight if he can. Definitely not giving up down there, but he's closing off that opposite side. Guerrero gets the ride out in the first, then he picks bottom, and he's up pretty quick. Return from Schwab, Granby roll, in on a high C, and classic Oklahoma State, he sits Schwab to his butt. Schwab bails. That is a move there that Guerrero's actually looking for Schwab's head to take him over in a cradle, so Schwab bailed out, and Guerrero gets the reversal to go up 4-0. He's back on top, and he is sneaking that leg in. He hooks with his left and tries to elevate that right knee a little bit so he can get his right leg in. And then he goes to this cross body ride, and again, just going right back to that arm, and he looks like he's trying to bar it up, but Schwab is sealing off, and he does get hit for a stalling call eventually down there. His base, leg goes in, cross body ride, and I love Guerrero talking to the ref during this whole match. You'll see Guerrero will just kind of start talking with the ref pretty candidly. So Schwab, again, he's moving. Guerrero gets back behind. He's got wrist control, and he's going to be looking to get that leg back in. He sneaks his right leg in, cross body ride. Now he's just trying to break him flat. Schwab gets the leg out, and this is kind of most of the match. It's really just kind of Guerrero riding, and now he hits Guerrero for stalling. This is where the stalling gets a little out of control in this match. I've watched it a couple times now, and the stall calls are a little bit, I don't know. I mean, the first one was Schwab pinching and sealing off, I get, but then he comes right back and hits Guerrero for stalling. I think that's a little premature, that first stalling call. Guerrero's riding. He's been looking to turn most of the time. He's trying to get Schwab flat, and again, Guerrero starts talking to the ref. I think he just called for injury time. So this is Guerrero's first injury time. He's got some sort of shoulder issue. Now, at this stage of collegiate wrestling, there was no penalty for just taking an injury time. You just say, I need injury time, and you can have your trainer come out and look at you and see what's going on, and you just go on the injury clock, and then you reset. It's just a fresh restart. It's not the rule anymore. Now, if you take an injury time, the other person gets their decision. Schwab gets moving and ends up getting a reversal with just 10 seconds left in the second period. So he's now down 4-2. Guerrero has riding time pretty much locked up, though. I mean, he's ridden him like 3 minutes. But you can see Guerrero starting to fade, the injury time, then giving up a reversal pretty quickly. Schwab hits a really nice hip heist off of Guerrero going to a cradle. Schwab goes neutral, and he is guns a-blazing. I mean, he is moving maybe faster than he was in the first period. And he's getting after it. He's down 6-2. I think I said 4-0 at some point. I forgot Guerrero got those near fall points. This reminds me of Thomas Gilman had a kind of infamous quote about he beat somebody who got really tired, and he said, "Oh, I gassed him from bottom." And literally, Schwab gassed Guerrero from bottom. I mean, Guerrero is totally exhausted. Like 90% of this match has been with Guerrero in the top position, riding legs on Schwab, and he's completely gassed. I mean, Schwab is really moving him pretty easily and taking ground. And, oh man, Guerrero just kind of stands up. He tries to fire one off and hoping for some magic there to get a takedown and put this thing out of control, and isn't able to. And then Schwab with a heavy club. And Guerrero, again, calls for an injury time. And, again, there's going to be no penalty for this. They're just going to go back to neutral. He can take a little time, take a 20, 30-second break if he wants. Tom Brands has said that he feels this rule was changed because of a match that took place in the 2010 NCAA Finals, which was Dan Dennis versus Jason Ness, in which Dennis had Ness broke flat on the mat, and Ness took a injury time with about 30 seconds left in the match, and then was able to escape and get a takedown and near fall to win the match. And Brands felt that, as most people felt, that wouldn't have happened if Ness wasn't allowed to take that injury time, and that injury time rule was put in place directly because of the Jason Ness, Dan Dennis NCAA Finals from 2010. So, little history lesson there for you. So Guerrero's getting a nice little shoulder massage there, and here we go. Back to action. And Schwab is just relentless. Absolutely relentless. Snapping, shooting, attacking the whole time. And Guerrero gets hit for stalling to make it 6-3. Schwab hits his snap down, go behind. That makes it 6-5. Now Schwab cuts Guerrero. Guerrero never gets back to his feet, but the ref awards the escape to make it 7-5. And Schwab just goes right behind and gets another takedown, 7-7. Schwab's trying to cut him again, so the ref hits Guerrero for stalling because Guerrero won't get up. And so now it's 8-7, and Schwab's on top. And the people are going bananas. And Schwab still cuts him, so it's 8-7 in favor of Guerrero. He's trying to get in and get a takedown and ice this thing. Schwab snaps him down. Another goal behind, 9-8. And who was that in the background? Oh, that's Pat Smith. Like he kicked a chair or something. And now Guerrero's not moving, and Schwab's not moving. Now, Guerrero was hit earlier for stalling, for doing just this on top. I know it's the end of the match, but they're not supposed to care what the situation is. Schwab does nothing. He just sits right behind him. He's riding the ride. No stalling call. I get it. Schwab did a lot to come back. He fought his butt off, but you're not really calling it consistently. So this is a problem I consistently have with stalling, is you're not supposed to change the way you call it based on the situation in the match, but the refs always do. They're human beings. They always change the way they do things. And look how jacked up Schwab is. This is a huge win over a returning NCAA champion. That's a giant win for Doug Schwab. What a match. A lot of fun out there. A lot of craziness. Just kind of a goofy situation there with a minute left. But Schwab gassed Guerrero from the bottom, got the W, and Iowa would go on to win that duel. Again, if you can, go ahead and check out the whole duel. People consider it one of the greatest duels of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you on the next one. Have a great one, everybody.